Zimbabwe's President Emmerson Mnangagwa was considering a constitutional amendment that would accommodate the leader of the opposition in the country following the disputed July 30 presidential elections. In 2019, Mnangagwa told journalists that he was considering recognizing his main opponent, Nelson Chamisa, as opposition leader. Chamisa, who had lost the presidential election to Mnangagwa, had legally contested the outcome in court and rejected the court verdict, insisting that he won the election. George Charamba, a deputy secretary of the president, told state-affiliated Herald that Mnangagwa planned to create the office of the leader of the opposition as one of the ways of institution building in the country. Under our Commonwealth parliamentary democracy, the opposition is recognized. We recognize the leader of the opposition in parliament. This is what we are going to do ourselves, Mnangagwa is quoted to have said. While the opposition is provided for in the many countries that use the Commonwealth legal system, including Zimbabwe, it is usually taken up by a member of parliament from the opposition party with the highest number of seats in parliament. Considering that Chamisa is not a member of parliament, Zimbabwe's Justice Minister Ziyambi said a constitutional amendment will be needed to accommodate any agreement reached between the president and Nelson Chamisa. It will need that if there is a political agreement, given the fact that Chamisa is not an elected MP as things stand. The amendment will need to reflect the agreement, but that is up to the parties, he said. Chamisa used his official Twitter account to tell his supporters that he had not received any offer from Mnangagwa. My role in the struggle is not about perks, position, title, or entitlement, but to fight for you, reads part of Chamisa's tweet. Don't be misled by headlines. There is no offer from Mnangagwa and no dialogue or contact with him. Our struggle is by and for you to the people. Your will and well-being come first. My role is the struggle is not about perks, position, title, or entitlement, but to fight for you. Jailed Zengeza West MP Job Sikala's wife Ellen has been convicted of a charge of violating road rules by Harare Magistrate Evelyn Mashavakure. Ellen was convicted after a full trial during which she denied the allegations. Mashavakure ordered Ellen to pay 30,000 Zimbabwean dollars fine or face a 2-month jail term. Ellen was also barred from driving for 6 months and to surrender a license to the court clerk within 7 days. During the trial, Ellen denied the allegations and argued she was targeted for being Sikala's wife. She also argued that she was arrested after failing to pay the police a bribe. A state witness, Kelvin Magaza, a traffic officer who was controlling traffic on the day, testified against her. Magaza said that he spotted Ellen committing the offense at a distance of about 30 meters from where he was. He said she was driving her car coming from Chitungwiza. She arrived at ABC auctions and saw that the lane was congested, so she decided to encroach the oncoming lane in order to escape traffic. As she was driving in this oncoming lane, she proceeded to try and go back to the right lane as the robots that when I arrested her. Ellen was arrested on 20 September at traffic lights along Seke Road on her way to visit her husband at Chikurubi Maximum Security Prison. Beauty Lily Joao, who is a Zimbabwean politician and the wife of former government minister Patrick Joao, says she has received a text message from President Emmerson Mnangagwa. Beauty, who is also the daughter-in-law of Sabina Mugabe, the sister of former president of Zimbabwe Robert Mugabe, took to it on social media to announce the shock of her life. In the morning, I received an SMS from Comrade Pay. Hanzi ndisasarire mwaka uno. Tine mbeu dzatichakupai, posted on her microblog Twitter handle. She asked fellow Zimbabweans for advice if she could respond, adding that she would rather request electricity from Mnangagwa. Meanwhile, her husband Patrick Joao, together with fellow former cabinet minister Jonathan Moyo, recently wrote a letter to ZANU-PF apologizing for having gone astray. The United States of America on Monday announced it was adding 4 Zimbabwean people, including the son of President Emmerson Mnangagwa, to the sanctions list. The U.S. Treasury Department also announced it was hitting 2 companies with penalties for their roles in undermining democracy and facilitating high-level corruption. Those sanctioned include Emmerson Mnangagwa Jr., who is said to have been in charge of his father's business's interest related to a prominent businessman Kudakwashe Tagwirei and his Secunda Holdings company. The sanctions freeze any assets the targets may have in the U.S. jurisdictions and bar Americans from doing business with them. In a statement seen by Pindula News, the Treasury said, "We urge the Zimbabwean government to take meaningful steps toward creating a peaceful, prosperous, and politically vibrant Zimbabwe, and to address the root cause of many Zimbabwe's ills, corrupt elites and their abuse of country's institutions for their personal benefit. The goal of sanctions is behavior change. Today's actions demonstrate our support for a transparent and prosperous Zimbabwe." In addition to Mnangagwa, Monday's sanctions target Tagwirei's wife, Sandra Mpunga, Ngobile Magwizi, and Obey Chimuka, along with the 2 companies Fossil Agro and Fossil Contracting. All of them are connected to Tagwirei and Secunda Holdings. The Treasury Department added that the sanctions demonstrated the United States' continued commitment to act in support of a transparent and prosperous Zimbabwe. It also said that the U.S. sanctions do not target the Zimbabwean people, the country of Zimbabwe, or Zimbabwe's banking sector. Self-exiled former Information Minister Professor Jonathan Moyo has likened Nelson Chamisa, who leads the opposition Citizens Coalition for Change, to 2008 presidential candidate Simba Makoni. In a series of Twitter messages seen by Pindula News, Moyo said Chamisa, a former ICT minister, will fail to win the 2023 elections the same way Simba Makoni lost the 2008 poll. He said, "Simba Makoni's 2008 failed idea that a popular someone without structures can run for the presidency and win with parliamentary and local government candidates chosen by communities and linked to that someone is one of the dumbest ideas that lingers on in Zim politics. Political analysis is about unpacking and understanding facts in front of you in the public domain. Praxis is not what you wish for, but what is there." While Nelson Chamisa imagines he can adopt and adapt Makoni's 2008 structureless strategy and use it without the tag of independent presidential candidate, a triple C run by a trio without structures, with no community, party, and local government candidates is like Makoni in 2008. #Yellow Kwa Yellow to cap it all. Nelson Chamisa 2023 structureless run for the presidency is as yellow as Simba Makoni's failed 2008 structureless run for the same. If imitation is indeed the best form of flattery, then Simba Makoni must be chaffed by being copied by Chamisa.